tonight we want to learn about the important subject of immigration, border enforcement, and the law. And you're going to hear from an expert. You're going to hear from the expert, Sheriff Richard K. Jones, and you'll get the rare opportunity to ask him questions that you want to know the answer to. So before I take this slide down that you see on your screen, I just wanted to show you the famous sign in front of the Butler County Jail, which says "Illegal aliens here," that the sheriff put up in 2004. That'd be great to see in person, wouldn't it? But I want to just tell you a little bit about our guest, Sheriff Richard K. Jones. I'm sure a lot of it you know, but a lot of it I didn't know. After completing military service, Sheriff Jones took a position as a corrections officer with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, where he achieved the ranks of senior captain and major. He then served as a major at the Lebanon Correctional Institute and as a chief deputy of the Butler County Sheriff's Office. During his 12-year tenure as the Butler County Sheriff's deputy, he orchestrated acquiring more deputies for patrol. He's worked hard to help make more jail cells available to lock up more criminals and increasing the productivity and efficiency of the office through computer automation. He has an associate's degree in corrections from Hocking Technical College, a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Wilmington College, and a master's degree in corrections from Xavier. He is currently starting his 6th term as sheriff of Butler County. Sheriff Richard K. Jones, we welcome you to EmpowerU.
Thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be sitting here talking to you and to the people that are watching today.
Well, first, Sheriff, I have got a big apology I have got to make to you just starting out tonight's class. So we sent out these emails advertising our classes. And in one of the emails, it read Sheriff Richard K. Jones, Sheriff of Hamilton County. And as soon as we sent that out, I had about 5 or 10 people email me immediately that the team had made a mistake, saying, "How could you ever make a mistake that big?" And my only response to them, Sheriff, was, "Well, I wish he was the sheriff of Hamilton County."
That's a good comeback. That's pretty quick.
So I'm sorry. I owe you an apology, but we're so glad to have you here. And I was just talking to the sheriff. We've got this big news that my phone was blowing up right when we started, Sheriff, about the Bengals have a new quarterback, right?
They have a new old quarterback. I think he's 40 years old. He's played for like 87 teams. And I just hope he doesn't get hurt because we got a new quarterback, but we don't have any line. Other than that, he should be able to run pretty fast.
It's too bad you can't send some of your big guys down there and help that offensive line.
I've got some big ones, but hey, he's going to have to run to stay healthy because, you know, those 400-pound men hitting you hard, they have a tendency to quarterbacks not to last long.
Well, I've got to tell you, we're so happy to have you here tonight. And we've talked a lot about immigration over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years with our friend Chris Clem, who you probably know and have probably seen before down in Texas. But if we could we just have you walk us through a little bit about immigration and what's on your mind, and then we'll start kind of opening it up to people and asking you a few things that we want to talk about tonight. Can we just kind of open it up and let you talk for a few minutes?
Sure. I'm kind of shy. And it's hard for me to talk, and because I'm a little camera shy.
So we'll pull it out of you if we have to. Okay.
If you have to. Here's what we got. We had a major election 9 months ago. Okay. 78% of Americans, both Democrat and Republican, wanted something done with immigration. And the President of the United States, President Trump, made the promise he was going to do something about immigration. He's been in there just the beginning of 10 months. Can't count the first 2 months. He's picking his cabinet, and he's done quite a bit. So here's what we've got. I've been on this immigration issue for probably 25 years. And it was an issue to me because I went back in the jail one day, and we had a guy that was in jail, and then he got out of jail. He was in jail. He got out of jail like several times. And the last time, he molested a 9-year-old little girl who was riding her bicycle. And he molested her. And then he went back to his country, which was Mexico at the time. And it took us a few years to get him back. And that's when it really started hitting home. And I could go on and on. We had a guy and we got the guy back from Mexico. Then he whined and cried. He had a family and wah. He's still in prison and probably will be in prison for most of my life, if not all of it. And rightfully where he should be. Now, a majority of people coming from these other countries don't do those kind of things. They come here for a better life. I agree. But you cannot sneak into my country, your country, without being invited. Period. We have an immigration system. It's screwed up. We allow 2 million people to come in legally a year. But sneaking across the border, they project that there's close to 20 to 30 million people that came here illegally. I want to repeat that. Illegally. They're illegal aliens. That's the legal term. I have 400 illegals in my jail as we speak today. President Trump keeps them here 3-4 weeks, and then it's adios, amigos. They leave. They get them out of here pretty quick. They need to keep the jail space. If they keep them here too long, the jails fill up in the country. They have about 40,000, 50,000 beds that they contract for. The feds doesn't have jail space. They depend on sheriffs. There's 3,300 counties. There's 3,300 sheriffs. We have a contract with them. They pay us to house the prisoners. I have 10 deputies that are trained that can go out with ICE and detain people. And ICE, we make the stops. ICE goes ahead and puts the charges on them. We take them to the jail. Now, with that in mind, we're the only law enforcement agency in the state of Ohio, and there's not that many in the country that are willing to do this and stand up and do the right thing. The right thing is come here legally. My ancestors came here. All of our listeners came here. Hey, you have family members that came here legally. And come to the country. It is a great country, but don't come here illegally. And to these businesses that do this, they think they're doing a great thing. They're doing a great thing for themselves because they're getting labor cheap and they work them from daylight till dark. That's not the American dream. Then they'll never be able to be citizens of the United States. Is it better than where they came from? Maybe, except it's the equivalent of slave labor. They got no say-so. They live in huts, little houses packed in there with the families. It's totally out of control. And it's the people that own these businesses that encourages them to come here, or the NGOs. And you know what those are. The companies and the groups that recruit people to come here to work. The southern border is mostly tight right now as we speak. I've been there 3 times. The next border that's not tight is the Canadian border. We connect to Canada by water and I believe by bridge. That's 3,000 miles where it's like a giant balloon. You squeeze it and the air goes to another part of the balloon. They're going north now, and they're coming across north into Ohio with their fentanyl, with their poison, and I can go on and on and on. I am somewhat controversial. I've had 500 protesters here. They go protest to the commissioner meeting every Tuesday night. I wish them well, but I don't really care what they think. They talk bad about the old sheriff. It doesn't hurt my feelings. When I go to the doctor has to harpoon me with a needle for medicine. So I take it pretty good. My skin's very thick, my friend. That's a brief synopsis, very brief. And now I will turn it over to you and your listeners, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for letting us know that. So I guess as I wanted to kind of get going in this, can you take us back to 2016 when Trump was first elected? What was the state of the immigration system then in comparison to what it is now?
Listen, he was fighting for his life when he got elected. The FBI, the CIA, all the federal agencies. They were trying to dismantle, to cause harm to his presidency. I don't know how he even survived without having a heart attack. Even the Republican Party wasn't supporting him 100%. He had to fight, fight, fight. And so he done the best he could. Our jails were full. He loved the police. We done deportation. But the feds wouldn't let us because the House and the Senate were controlled by the Democrats. They stopped us from doing the enforcement part of this. But let me take you back a little bit. When President Obama was president, he deported in 8 years more than Trump did the whole time he was president. People forget that President Obama deported. And the reason I know that, I was here. They were arresting them. I was bringing them here. We were deporting them. But people like to say the Democrats don't do that. Biden didn't do it. Biden stopped it. And total chaos when Biden was president. Total chaos. I fired ICE before they fired me in the jail. I didn't want their prisoners. I didn't want anything to do with them. The federal government was run by incompetent people in these organizations. And with the FBI, the CIA, and the federal government, they were attacking working people. They were tapping phones of our current president when Trump was president. The FBI was tapping his phones, and it appears they were tapping the 8 or 12 congressmen, Republican congressmen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is just the beginning. Wait till we find out what kind of government does this. They tried to put our past president in prison. They tried to embarrass him. They've tried to ruin him. The whole 4 years, his transitional team, he come out and said the FBI was tapping his phones. People said he's crazy. Well, they were. And the FBI was attacking him, sneak attacking him. But listen, this guy survived. And I believe that God wanted him to be president. I truly believe that. When he got shot and very easily could have been killed, it was just that close. And I believed he was a changed man from that date, period. I believe that God wanted him to be president. Go ahead.
So when Biden came in, what did you do with your team? And I mean, did you guys just have to kind of almost stop doing everything you'd been doing? What did you do?
We went in reverse. Live to fight another day. We were fighting a losing battle. The government was against us, didn't like the police, was cutting the grants out. So we just focused on what we could to fight crime. Couldn't do anything with immigration. Everything stopped. And he was the president of the United States. Nothing we could do about that. You suck it up and you do what you got to do to survive. We live to fight another day.
So if you would come across someone who was an illegal immigrant back in the 4 years during Biden, you would just let them go, or what would you do?
They took our powers away from us.
Okay.
We didn't have to let them go. There was no local law enforcement were allowed to enforce any of these things. The 287G, they took it all away from us.
So when you hear about, I heard the figure you mentioned in your opening remarks. According to your estimates, how many illegal immigrants do you feel like there are?
It depends who you listen to. I try to listen to the news and I divide it by 400 and subtract it by 9 million, and you come up with some truth. I don't care who you watch, but I believe there's somewhere between 20 and 30 million people here. We have no idea who they are at all, to include terrorists. I've been to the border, and I've been there 3 times. I'm on the national border committees. I travel and listen to the sheriffs on the border. Every state in the United States is a border state right now. Every state is. We all have fentanyl. We all have different people within our communities. And there's people that have criminal history that are here among us and don't think they're not. I'm telling
you. Now, when you say there are 20 to 30 million, how many, do you have any kind of even guess on how many there would be in Ohio?
Don't have a guess. I'm sure there's somebody that has a number. We're in Butler County. We're between 2 sanctuary cities and counties. Hamilton County is a sanctuary city. Montgomery County and Dayton, sanctuary. And in Butler County, the city of Oxford is a sanctuary college town, a sanctuary city. So, but just with people here in these areas, in Ohio, hundreds of thousands, not thousands, hundreds of thousands.
So in the Wall Street Journal today, they had an article about immigration, and I was just curious on your take on it. They claimed in that article that from what they're hearing with ICE people being sent all around the country, that their goal is deporting about 3,000 people a day. Is that what you're hearing?
I hear a lot of things, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm hearing.
Okay.
I know how many, but I'm not going to mention that here. And they have a goal. But when you have 20 to 30 million, that's an awful big goal to get deported. And then on the self-deportation, there's thousands that are taking the government up on self-deportation, where they'll give you $1,000 a trip back to the country where you came. We've had people from our jail take them up on that, where they'll fly them back to their country. But if you get captured and you get deported, you can never come back to the United States.
Are as many people taking the opt-out to leave on their own as we're catching? Is it about a one-to-one thing?
I don't think so. They're advertising it often, and when they're captured, they get a check, and the government can take them back to a country, or they can fly them and get them back to the country. I believe not all the countries take them back. People think that you can take them back to the country they came from. Some countries won't take them back. Don't blame them. Castro done that with Cuba. He sent all the people that were here, that were from mental institutions, that were sick, sent them all over here, emptied his prisons out, his mental institutions. Then he wouldn't take them back. Pretty smart on his part. And
Yeah.
what do? Open our arms up? Yes, come here. Come, the greatest country in the world. And we are taking people.
Based on what you see, how many people of 30 million would it even be feasible to actually deport? How many could you deport?
Oh, you can't deport 30 million. I don't know that you can deport 20 million. You can try real hard. But the federal government right now has ICE agents working with ICE. They have FBI, CIA. They got other federal agencies. Like I said, they have internal revenue agents. I've seen them. They are working as ICE agents right now, and they're hiring more. They're bringing them in. They're giving more authority to local law enforcement, those that are allowed to do it. It's a very tough task. They're awarding grants, but the American people want to live in a safe community, and they want people to come here legally. We've got enough people coming here that can lay brick and can do construction work. We already have enough Americans can do that. We just need to pay them. We had it before, but these people, to bring them in, they work cheap. They have no benefits. They work 16 hours a day. They get free food, free welfare, free benefits. And the people that are making the money, it's called the golden rule. He or she with the money make the rules. They're used to making the rules. They're not used to President Trump.
So you don't buy this argument that you're starting to hear more and more. Oh, we can't deport the people because then we won't be able to make wine. It's just a question of paying them.
No. Listen, we've had people come to the United States since the beginning of time to pick fruit, vegetables, work in certain places along the border. They had visas. They were called work visas. They came across, worked, and then they went right back to their country. But these business owners that own all these businesses, they want these people to stay, so they put little shacks up and places for them to stay. They can have their kids. We'll get you some welfare because the government's going to pay all that. We don't have to pay you as much. And they work them 16 hours a day. They use kids in the labor of this. No, Americans will work some jobs. There's nothing wrong with bringing people in to do certain jobs. You come in legally, you have a work visa. The work visa program is so screwed up, my friend. There's close to 200 visas in the United States. There should be 5 or 6. There's a visa for everything. There's no green card anymore. They
And
call
you wrote a letter to President Trump about that, right? Would you tell people what you said to the president?
Listen, I asked him, there should be 5 work visas in the United States. There shouldn't be close to 200. And we've got people that can work. I sent a letter to President Bush, and I sent a letter demanding that he pays for letting these people come across the border. I sent one to the president of Mexico, demanding that he pay me $2 million for housing these illegals in my jail. And my government called me and said I could not communicate with a president from a foreign country. And here's what I said. I said, did you tell the same thing to that basketball player that went over to North Korea? I said, did you tell him he couldn't communicate? I said, they said I violated a treaty of like 1920. I said, send me a copy of that treaty. I don't believe you. And I still don't. And you know how many letters I got back? None. I got 0. And I've been to the White House 3 times. I supported President Trump. I'm with him 100% right today.
Tell me about the 287 program. What exactly, I know you mentioned that at the beginning, what exactly does that allow you in Butler County to do?
287G, there's 2 of them. One is to house prisoners. It's an agreement with the federal government to contract to house prisoners for the feds. Gives you the authority to do that. We entered into that agreement. They come, inspect your jail, they do all the inspections, they train your staff up. They award you be able to house prisoners. The other 287G is an enforcement program to where you can go out with ICE and with them making the arrest, you can assist them, make stops, you can transport. Only the deputies that are trained. So we have 2 287Gs. We're the only ones in Ohio that have that. And with that, you get sued a lot of public information requests, but we're not stupid. This isn't the first time we've done this. We didn't fall off the turnip truck last week. So we're okay. But you got to be able to stand up and do this.
Are you able to share with us how many detainees did you say are in your jail right now?
400.
And
ask me how many. I'm going to help you with a question. Ask me how many have been in my jail since Trump's been president.
How many?
1,700.
Okay.
So we've had 1,700 illegal aliens in my jail in the past 10 months.
And how many people does your jail hold?
About 1,200. I got 3 jails, 1,200.
And are you able to tell me how much the government pays you to hold a prisoner there?
Yes, they don't pay me enough. Somebody said, how much do you get paid? Here's what I said, all I can get. Yeah, I can tell you, we've just signed a new program. We get $105 a day per inmate.
105. And how many of your deputies have received the training where they can go out with the ICE agents to help them?
10, and 10 in the process, 10 more being trained. And I'm going to do 10 more. I'm going to do 10 more till I get most all of my deputies trained.
And how long do they have to go somewhere for training, or how long does it take?
No, the government pays for the training. The government pays for the certification. They pay us for vehicles, fuel, and hourly rate. They pay.
Now, let me just think. And I guess when you were starting to detain these prisoners, the prosecutor there got a little concerned about your potential liability, but Dave Yost ended up saying that is not an issue, correct?
No, our prosecutor's a great guy. Been prosecutor. He's been practicing law for 50 years. He was making sure we were doing everything correctly. This is all new with the part of housing prisoners to this extent and to the part of being able to enforce and work with ICE and having those agents trained. So he sent up and got an opinion from the Attorney General, Dave Yost, which affected all the sheriffs in the state of Ohio. A positive opinion. Absolutely correct.
So I just want to encourage everyone. We've got a bunch of questions already, but please ask your questions. We're going to be getting to those in just a few minutes. Go to the Q&A button below and just send your questions over. We'll start. I see we've got 5. A couple other questions that I wanted to ask you about worksite arrests. So I was in South Carolina a few weeks back, Sheriff, when 400 people were arrested at the Hyundai plant here and sent back. I think they were from Korea, maybe. Now, when you go out to workplaces, I mean, is this something where do you actually are you looking for people to detain, or is it just if they come in contact with you because they've done something, or how does that work?
Here's how it works in Ohio and for us. If you're committing a crime, a traffic crime, a domestic violence, just like anybody else, we only those deputies that are trained can make those uh, uh, containments or stop those people and talk to them. You have to be certified and trained. 10, soon to be 20. We don't go to do workplace enforcement. ICE does. And when they do, we go with them for security. I promise you, my friend, you throw rocks at federal agents here, we will arrest you. If you throw a brick at a federal agent, you'll get arrested. But if you throw a brick at one of my deputies, you'll go to the hospital first, then you'll go to jail. If you spit on one of my deputies, you'll go to jail after you go to the hospital. If you don't like it, don't come here. Pretty strict rules. We will not respond to federal agents that are surrounded, cars knocking them off the road and throwing bricks at them, and where they have to retreat and be trapped and begged for help. We in Butler County, Ohio, and the state of Ohio, we will not be that department. I promise you.
It must have really bothered you to watch the news over the weekend when when the ICE agents were cornered and they had called the Chicago police for help and the Chicago police didn't help them.
Oh, it bothers me a lot. It bothered the Chicago police. How do you think the media found out? They were screenshotting the orders they were being sent. Then they come on and they say, well, we didn't really mean it that way. That's where politics comes in. And it's such a terrible thing to where you will not respond to help an officer. These officers aren't involved in politics. They depend on each other for protection. And you cannot allow that to happen no matter who you are. And I don't blame the President of the United States when you have to helicopter supplies in because you're trapped in your headquarters, which the military has to come in and drop off supplies because they can't come out. When they shoot and kill people that are in vans, they shoot and kill innocent people. They shoot trying to kill ICE agents. Hey, this country is, and these states that allow that and think it's okay, people aren't stupid.
It's
They
crazy.
understand what's going on. It
Now,
is crazy.
the sanctuary cities in Hamilton County to the south, I mean, Cincinnati to the south, Dayton to the north, do you find that the illegals, do they avoid Butler County because in Oxford too, are they avoiding you?
I hope so. If they're smart, they will. And if they're stupid, some Americans are stupid, and you can't fix stupid. But if somebody is from, I assume other countries have people that are stupid too. If you come here illegally and you do something you shouldn't, you're going to get a quick trip back to where you came from. Go somewhere else. Go to these other cities to where they give you free stuff. Go there. They're okay with it. Don't come here.
Now, the whole sanctuary city thing, it's still hard for me to understand. We did a class on it several years ago with the vice mayor of Cincinnati, and I didn't understand it. And I don't now. It's just crazy to me that about the fact that these people don't understand the federal government has superiority. But what do you tell your colleagues when you see them at some kind of governmental meetings where you cross paths? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Listen, they are elected by the way that they and what they stand for. So that's their philosophy, that's their stance. They have parties. They're elected either by Democrat or by Republican. In Ohio, there could be some independents. I don't know who they are. So they dance with those that brung them. Look, I don't have to kiss anybody's ring. I work for the people. I get crossover votes from Democrats and Republicans, union, non-union, because if you want to know how I feel about anything, you ask me. And if you're in doubt when you get done asking me, that's because you didn't hear.
So before we start questions, I just want to ask you about this crime situation down in the city of Cincinnati. If you were on top, on high down there in charge, what would be the one or two or three things you would do to try to get that situation under control?
Well, to begin with, they would never elect me sheriff in Hamilton County, and they wouldn't make me their police chief in Hamilton County. I would fix it in about 6, 8 weeks. Pretty simple. But they elect these people. City council picks their chiefs of police. The county elects their sheriff. You elect the government that you deserve, and that's what you get. But I will tell you this, people that I don't agree with Al Sharpton on anything. It's probably surprising you that I'm going to agree with him. One thing he did say when they said defund the police, the last things poor communities want is less police in their communities. Now, if you live in a gated community, a real nice place, you can say all those wonderful things. If you live in a poor neighborhood and very poor, your kids are in that neighborhood, the last thing Al Sharpton said is to defund the police. They need the police. And these communities, these sanctuary cities, I know the police chief in Cincinnati, great lady. I know the sheriff in Hamilton County, great lady. Two different politics. They're appointed, and here in Butler County, I've been elected 6 terms, the longest serving sheriff in Butler County. And I say what I think. I'm not afraid to say what I think. And I don't make the law. I enforce the law. I don't interpret the law. We enforce the law. I want to make that clear. But these people, I talk to the sheriffs in these communities. That's how they survive. That has to be their philosophy.
We got a bunch of questions. Let's take some. First one is from Candy. Does the Warren County Sheriff work with you?
Yes, 100%. New sheriff, great guy.
What's his name?
You put me on the spot.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. Too late. You already put me on the spot.
Okay,
I can
second.
tell you the one. Go ahead.
Anonymous wants to ask a question. We see businesses that are open but don't seem to have customers. Are these fronts for cartel activity in our county? Can we report this activity?
Sure, you can report anything you like. You can report it to the feds. You can report it to the sheriff's office. And yeah, sure, you can go online and do it. You can do it anonymously. The sheriff in Warren County, my guys are going to look that up to remind me. If he's listening, I'm sorry, but I'm an old man that's late at night.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. Cheryl wanted to ask you the question. We saw on TV hundreds, if not thousands, of military-aged Chinese walk across our border. How concerned are you about these immigrants or the ones from the Middle East? Are we tracking them?
Well, I'm concerned as you all. We should all be concerned. But I will tell you this: the government is tracking. They're doing the best they can, and they know that these people are coming in, and they're doing all they can. We should all be concerned with terrorists and people that want to do us harm that are here in our country waiting for the time. Don't forget 9/11. Wasn't that long ago. 11 men, I believe.
We have someone online who says, what are your thoughts about what is happening in Portland regarding the attack on ICE agents?
I discussed that earlier. It's disgusting. Their governor is disgusting. Their mayor is disgusting. And the police that don't protect ICE and allow that to happen, they're just not ICE agents. They're all the federal agents. I just named all of them to you. They're not just ICE agents. The police are doing their job. They're going to cause one of these employees or several to be killed. And it's totally out of control. And I agree with the President of the United States. They need to send the military in and all the federal help they can get.
So that was my next question. You don't have any problem at all with Trump sending National Guard units to wherever he needs to send them to restore order?
No, I don't have any issue with that at all. It's not the first time that's been done. President Kennedy done it. in the South, where George Wallace was the governor, and an African American young girl was trying to get into an all white school, and they wouldn't let her in. So he federalized the National Guard, and which means the National Guard that worked for Governor Wallace now worked for the President of the United States. Eisenhower did it. I think President Bush done it, and it's not a new thing. But the country's kind of messed up right now, and you got to have law and order. Federal law trumps, no pun intended, state law.
How close is Cincinnati to Memphis? I mean, we had a judge on at EmpowerU on September 18th, Sheriff, that Judge Josh Berkowitz, you may have heard him on another show, he just told us just that things were just in terrible, terrible shape down there with not sending anybody to jail at all for anything. And he said he compared the crime to Chicago and Memphis. And is it in your eyes, is it that bad?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And listen, the whole country is pretty bad right now. And we're divided. The media divides us, and the comedians divide us. People are so tired of hate. They need people to laugh. We need Americans to laugh again and be funny. Comedians need to be funny. You don't need to be so messed up you can't laugh. And everybody, when little old ladies drive by and give you the finger, or little old men, and they're not hateful, they're just angry. And
Yeah.
the whole country's like that.
Yeah. Here's a question. What can citizens of Warren or Butler County do to help your efforts
Of what counties?
of your county? What can
Oh,
somebody in
Butler
your
County.
county do to help
Yeah.
help your guys?
Here's what you can do. When you see a police officer, when you see a firefighter, somebody in the life squad, military, law enforcement, walk up to them. Tell them how thankful you are for what they do, and tell them how proud you are of what they do. They risk their lives, their families, every single day. Thank them. Give them a pat on the back. That's how you can thank them. Most people like all these organizations that I told you, but they're the silent majority. It's not the people with the loud mouths, with the purple hair that are running up and down the street and with big signs. It's not those people.
Arlene wants to know, what is your hierarchy of authority? I've heard the sheriff's authority is above the authority of the police. Is that true?
We're the highest ranking law enforcement in the state of Ohio and most states. The only person that can arrest me is the coroner, and I suck up to her in case she has to arrest me. Hey,
Bruce,
before you go any further, Riley's the guy, right?
I'm sorry, what was
Okay,
that?
Warren County Sheriff, Barry Riley. Sorry,
you.
Barry, he's the
Yeah.
sheriff. Go ahead, my
Um,
friend.
Bruce wanted to make a comment. I think it's a good one, Bruce. He said, you are our own Senator John Kennedy, sheriff, right here in Butler County. Straight, honest talk, maximum common sense. Hope you read that as a great compliment. Thank you.
Listen, I do read it as a compliment. So many people that are elected, the only form of law enforcement that is elected is the county sheriff. I don't have any bosses. My boss are the people that elect me. That's my boss. And police chiefs, they work for city managers, they work for a council, safety directors, and that's why you see these big cities, when they have to take the stance they have to, they have bosses. Sheriffs do not.
Tom wanted to ask the question, what is your policy on the pursuit of a person fleeing in a car from police? If they cross into Hamilton County, do they aid? Would somebody from your office aid in that pursuit?
It depends. It depends if they've done what they've done. If it's a traffic violation, no. We've probably already called that off at high pursuits. It's not worth getting somebody killed. If they've murdered somebody, if they've raped somebody, or they're getting ready to, we work with the local agencies. They'll be waiting at the line with us, and we'll pursue. But if it's something lighter than that, we live to fight another day. It's not worth some innocent person getting run over and killed for a small light charge.
Um, Another Tom wants to ask the question: does the manpower trained to help ICE operations detract from your manpower needs elsewhere in Butler County?
People ask me that all the time. While my people are out enforcing immigration law, which we don't, my deputies, the ones that are certified and trained, it's just another part of it's like a long list of things they can do. They don't go out and work ICE their whole shift. If they stop somebody and somebody has done a criminal violation or a traffic violation, it's what they do anyway.
So, in kind of reviewing a little bit about the immigration situation, you know, you there's a group of people that say, well, you know, I understand if you're going to deport the most serious criminals, but you can't deport the person that's not a criminal. Is that how you feel, or is an illegal immigrant an illegal immigrant?
Here's how I feel. I don't make the law. If you sneak into this country in the middle of the night, you shouldn't have snuck in. And hey, you should go back like they're offering you. Go back now and come back legally. You can't sneak. It's the equivalent of you're sitting at home having a hamburger with your family. Somebody opens your door, comes in, sits in your chair. They start getting in your refrigerator. You don't know who they are, but they were hungry and they just come in and open your door. You come to this country, you got to ask. No country allows people to come in like what we've done. Those that have are about to lose their country. In Europe, they've taken over. You pick who comes in. We've got enough general laborers. We need, hey, if we got somebody that's a lawyer, not the lawyer, a doctor, some kind of a surgeon, a scientist, important people. We've got enough people for general labor. We don't need any more of those. We have all these factories and we need to hire people, hire from within our own government, increase the amount of people that come in. But if you sneak into this country illegally, sorry, you need to go back where you came from.
I know you've commented on several times about, what you would tell people in Congress about solving the immigration problem and where you'd put the people in the room. Would you tell people how you think that
Sure, I will. I can fix it. 8 Republicans, 8 Democrats, all in the same room, doors locked. They can come out and use the restroom. They can get something to drink. They can get something to eat. And they can have little cots for them to sleep in or little beds in the next room. They can't leave till they get this immigration stuff fixed. Now, just to get them in the same room and lock the door, that probably make them all throw up. They hate each other. It wasn't always that way. Tip O'Neill, when he was the Speaker of the House, the Democrat, Ronald Reagan was a Republican. They fought a little bit. They cut deals and made the country work. Now they all fight, and they fight over silly, crazy things. Men and women's sports. Who ever thought of that? Well, that's a great idea. I think a man should be able to go play in women's sports and do weightlifting, and I think it's it's stupid. But that's how messed up this country has gotten. And the American people, Democrats and Republicans, don't like that stuff. And here's what the American people want. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When you take little college classes, they'll tell you there's like 8 hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Number 1 is safety, air, food, water. Safety is pretty important. Being able to live, food and water and air. Safety is at the top. And these people have forgot. People care about their safety. And our neighborhoods, the neighborhoods that need it the most, are getting it the least.
Right. Bruce asked the question, how does an immigrant's asylum or temporary protective status change your approach?
Doesn't change my approach at all. That's up to the federal government. And that's their approach deal. If we stop somebody and we determine that they're illegal, ICE is contacted immediately. They run it through their program. They have to figure that out. Look, I know people that work hard. They go to work every day. They snuck into this country illegally, but they're really nice people. They have kids and they have a family. I agree, but you got to go back, and you can't jump in front of people that have been waiting for 5 or 10 years just because you think it's okay. It's not.
What about you're hearing a lot of people talk about Mayorkas these days. He must have been it must have driven he must have driven you crazy. I mean, do you feel like he committed treason?
No, I believe he was appointed by the President of the United States that told him what to do, and he was doing what he believed in. I believe he believed every bit of what he was doing. I talked to people that worked for him up high level, said he was actually a nice guy, really a nice guy. And I believe that. I trust these people. His philosophy, the way that he believed that he was doing the right thing, and he wasn't. He helped destroy our country, but his bosses told him, "This is what we want, and you've got to do this." Was did he do what I wanted him to do? No. Did he drive me crazy? No. I live to fight another day. He's gone now, and I don't look at the past. I look at the future. We've got to get our country squared away. Got
Kathy says, "Why aren't more sheriffs standing up? I don't understand this. They took an oath."
Yeah, I took an oath to enforce the U.S. Constitution and the state of Ohio Constitution. Depends where you're at, my friend. If you're in Hamilton County and you're appointed by your philosophy and your beliefs, that's what you believe in. So that's what you do. And to stand up and do what I do, I tell others, be careful. You got to have courage because you'll be sued. You'll have protesters. I have all those things. I was on the hit list. I received a call from the federal government that said at one time that I was one of 10 law enforcement people that the drug cartel had a hit on. And you know what I wanted to know? Was I number one or was I number 10? And true story. And they laughed, like you're laughing a little bit.
I believe it. Anonymous wants to ask the question, any comment on the release of the chaplain from Children's who was released? I don't I don't know that question. Does that make any I don't think that
No,
makes
it
sense.
doesn't to me.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
So I guess kind of in closing, um, we've got 20 to 30 million immigrants. If the Wall Street Journal report is correct that we're getting 3,000 a day deported, that's a million a year. I mean, is that a number you're comfortable with, or does it need to be higher than that?
Well, naturally, it would be nice if it could be higher. It's tough. We've got all hands on deck right now. You only have so much jail space. Our government shut down, which the non-essential employees, it's the biggest mess you ever seen. We need more jail space. Would 2 million or 3 million be better? Hey, and how long do we get to do this? Is this just through President Trump or is it through the next president? Is it going to be a Republican president? Is it going to be a Democrat president? There's no guarantees on any of this. It's a start, and we're sending a heck of a message. And if we can get some more incentives and get people that are here out to go voluntarily, it'll be nicer. Maybe bring some more in that are on the legal side, fix legal immigration. But one thing we've done, my friend, we stopped the bleed of people coming in on the southern border, and we're taking some away here. So it's a start. The northern border is not secure yet. The Canadians aren't working with us real well.
Sheriff, the one thing people don't just can't seem to understand sometimes is that the core function of government really is to protect the citizens. And I just want to give you a big pat on the back and a big thank you to you and your team, because what you're doing is so important. I'm in Hamilton County and I don't feel that way. And we just appreciate you and thank you for joining us tonight to tell us a lot about, what you're doing every day to make us safer.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, and I I live for the dream job that I have. My whole family's in law enforcement. My father was in law enforcement. My mom, my sister, my son-in-law, my son, all in law enforcement. Me, all it was blue bloods. This is what I know. I've trained for, and I believe that I was meant to be here to make a difference. And I don't forget that. And I don't take it lightly, my friend.
Sheriff Richard K. Jones, thank you for joining EmpowerU tonight. And we really appreciate you teaching us about law enforcement, immigration, and everything else you do. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Good night.